Hello and welcome again to another Wellness Way USA podcast. I'm Jeb Odom and this is Lori Newcomer. Welcome. Today we're going to talk about supplements. Supplements. Something everybody needs, question mark? We don't know. So let's dig into it and find out. However, first, we like to always do some sort of strange article that we found over the weekend or during the week.
News again?
No, I found one even better than that.
Okay.
Florida woman files federal lawsuit to keep her emotional support chickens. That's from Fox News. Yeah. Apparently she's tried to move into a place and they won't let her have the chickens. So she's having to file a lawsuit to...
Did she get them, go through that class or pay that whatever certification to have them emotional support chickens so she can actually take them places?
I don't know how you qualify an emotional support chicken, but I'm sure there's a process.
The same way they do dogs or whatever emotional
never heard
support.
Of it. So it's
animals.
An interesting story if you want to find it. It's on Fox. Dig into it a little more. But
all right.
Supplements. So what do you know about supplements, Lori?
I'm going to say very little. Even through all the years in training, I always felt that nutrition that you could get naturally through whole foods or just through eating a well-balanced meal. And now I'm learning with Dr. Corvino that he actually has a mentor that's getting his PhD in soyology, maybe. I could be saying this wrong, but in the dirt and the minerals, and that they're finding that even the vegetables and the fruits and everything that we're getting is still lacking the nourishments and things that we need and maybe our grandparents got, because the soil is being recycled and used so much and not turned up enough or something, the way he was describing it.
You could imagine that, out of all the things that are probably expensive would be adding the nutrients back into the soil, whether you have to use, fresh topsoil or manure or chemicals.
Or digging deep enough to get another layer
sell,
or something.
Added like phosphorus and things like that you can add nutrients to your soil, but I'm sure,
then you're getting back into treated
you're cutting into your profits a little bit too. So I'm sure they only use what they have to.
Well, I have to say from him that I've learned that a multivitamin with your doctor's approval is great for everyone.
I think we could all agree that a good, high quality, clinically dosed multivitamin, and I say that because I believe Robert's methodology on that is probably the best suggestion, because the clinically dosed means that they can actually prove that what they say on the bottle is in the bottle.
Yes, because even I've read that the FDA, that the manufacturers do not even have to list that it is effective or any of the positives or even of the risks that there are to it.
Right.
But they do have a list on their website that will say manufacturers or brand names that are possibly harmful or anything else
something
that
you
need
to pay
to know.
attention to. Yeah. So since our audience varies, we have different members of different ages, different groups, different ethnicities. Who takes supplements? Who do you think takes supplements?
Honestly, I think all people do. I know fish oil is another really good one that I think for all ages. And
now with fish oil, do you worry about?
When I say all ages,
do you worry about what is it they have in there? Mercury content. Do you worry about mercury content in fish oil?
I personally haven't, but again, it's with a doctor's recommendation is how I've ever taken that. And then folic acid I did while I was pregnant, of course, just because for brain development.
Now, did you take a clinically dosed folic acid?
Honestly,
or did you just pick one off the shelf?
I just picked one off the shelf.
Okay.
I mean, it was at the time. My doctor didn't push anything specific.
Right.
So, how could you tell us on clinically dosed?
They're just more expensive.
Are they labeled clinically dosed?
Yes.
Is that the term
and they're
that's
marketed?
Used?
Yeah, they're marketed with that. But it's also the reason they're more expensive is not because they just simply can measure their ingredients and document that and then put it out onto the bottle. Usually, it requires that they have a backup test or a further testing to kind of like solidify those results of what they put in and say, yes, that is in there. Now, what I have found in researching these, tests, they're scientific tests. Sometimes they're tough to read. But what I found is a lot of times they'll put these tests out there and they're marketing a product today, and this test was 2 years ago or 3 years ago or 5 years ago. So when you see these lab reports that they'll post, and good companies usually will give you access to their lab reports, their testing, pay attention to the date. And make sure that the product that they're showing is actually the product you're buying, because most of these companies have a lot of products, and they may put one for, a calcium supplement as a link for one that's maybe like a vitamin C. So they're trying to save a little money on and not test it. I don't really think that most supplement companies are trying to fool consumers. I just by what I'm reading, that most of the time, like, even if they analyze these things, it's really like 7%, out of all the ones they had tested in certain tests, that they said 7% of those didn't have exactly what they should have had. And usually it's by an ingredient that's not supposed to be in there, not having the ingredient that is supposed to be in there,
but having an extra ingredient,
right,
to maybe filler or to keep it
so
or something.
Article that we've picked up through the crnusa.org says 75% of adults take dietary supplements. That's quite
a big
bit.
number.
Yeah. Women 77, men 73.
I have to say I didn't take any until recently.
Yeah, and is that right or wrong? How do you know? How do you know that you need them?
I don't know.
I mean, I take supplements, but do I really know that I need them? No, I just kind of go read the literature, read the articles posted by professionals in different areas, and they suggest these things based on what you're doing, your activity level, your age, things like that. And then you take them and you just try it. Is that the best way? It's probably not, but I don't know if we could afford the best way every time. So a lot of this is kind of just, you're having to do your best to make sure that what you're buying is safe. Check with your doctor to make sure that he's okay with what you're taking. And then check those products out for testing, lab results, things like that. Read the reviews. There's a lot of things in reviews that if you actually just dig into the negative ones, which doesn't take very long most of the time, because there's not really a lot of negatives on the ones you're going to be shooting for, because if you're buying a product, you're not going to aim for the one that has 2 stars. You're going to try and get the one that has 3,000 5 stars. And then out of those, there'll still be some negative comments.
Oh, 3,000 5 stars. Okay,
right,
I was about to say, man, that's a new number.
We also have some different statistics that across the generations, a multivitamin, like we said, is the top choice among supplement users. So that does back up what we thought. Multivitamin, can you tell if it helps at all? How does it affect you? Can you tell, like, your skin better?
Honestly,
can you
it gives
feel
me a
better?
stomachache when I first take it.
Yeah,
so
if you take it.
I don't know the gains. I don't know, because I try to take care of my skin and, still drink milk, or now grass-fed milk and other things like that occasionally, to still get everything that I need. So I'm not sure if it's helping or not. Right now I'm just following a doctor's order. So, and I can't see where it could hurt me just as we get older.
Unless there's something wrong with the vitamin itself.
Yes.
Yeah. So top supplements among users by age group. I'm just going to cut to the middle. They have different groups: 55 years plus, 18 to 34, or 35 to 54. I'm just going to dig into the middle one.
Okay.
35 to 54-year-olds. 75% of those take a multivitamin. 34% take a vitamin D. 31% take a protein. 29% take a vitamin C.
Now, vitamin C, I do want to say doses exceeding 2,000 milligrams can cause nausea and other things. And also that they found connected, which of course isn't that bad.
Right. And I'll get into another one that I have personal experience with, which is caffeine. If I don't get into it, remind me.
Okay.
Vitamin B complex, 28%, and then calcium, 22%. And really, from what we understand and what Dr. Robert Corvino talks about with us, is this is pretty good. This is a pretty good, average of what to take. He recommends the multivitamin to everybody, but of all the things I've heard him recommend clinically dosed, these are some of the common ones.
Now, I would say before you start taking anything, to Google and see the side effects or the risk to taking that vitamin with other medication you may be taking, because vitamin B3 has been known for countering cholesterol medicine, making it
Right.
not as effective.
Right. People a lot of times, I believe, with the supplements, they think maybe because it's either holistic, a natural supplement, or it's geared, or it's made from something natural, or derived from something natural, that it's not going to hurt me no matter how much I take. Well,
That's not true.
that's not true. This
Yeah.
stuff could really cause some problems. I take a pre-workout sometimes, pre-workout supplement, which boosts your energy, gives you little amino acids floating around in your bloodstream. And I had just recently switched to a new one because it was on sale. It's the same manufacturer. It's actually a clinically dosed one. I took it and I had a severe reaction, I consider, at the gym to I had an upset stomach and I really just felt horrible. It felt like the flu. And what I had realized was it had 450 milligrams of caffeine in the dose.
Well,
And I had already drank a pot of coffee that morning, basically. So I think I'd overdosed myself on caffeine. Doesn't feel good. Don't try it. It's not fun. But so pay attention to when you start a new one, maybe step into it slowly, and don't take a lot of things with it. That way, if it did affect you, that was it. And I'm like that. A lot of times I'll just add a single thing, and that way I know that's what affected me, or I have a good suspicion. Have you ever had a supplement affect you?
I guess just recently taking them, and honestly, it's the multivitamin. Just upset my stomach, but I don't really see a difference with any other vitamin.
That vitamin
supplement.
seems to be really tough on your stomach to break down, so your stomach kind of cramps almost. It's like, we don't like this.
So I drink a ton of water with it, and it still happens. But you're supposed to eat
is the best
take
thing.
it with it. But I did find vitamin K reduces the effects of blood thinners, and vitamin E increases the blood thinner if you're taking the medicine, which could lead to bruising or nosebleeds.
Yeah, these supplements will affect you.
Ooh, pharmacists, they know everything.
Do they?
Yes, well, not all of them, but they know about medicine for the most, because even I had my primary physician at the time. I was just kind of like agitated. I think just I had a lot on my plate, and I was like, what can I do without taking medication or a prescription? He's like, try St. John's wort. It's good. It'll So I went there, and the pharmacist said that's the last thing I would think, because it breaks down many different medications. And it affects many different things.
It forces them to metabolize.
Yeah, and it ended up, it was fine for me to use, but they did say from antidepressants to birth control, it was a whole list of stuff that she shared that messes with the effects. That's just St. John's wort that you can buy off the shelf.
Yeah, and so, we'll go back to, and I just skipped past an article that I had about that, was check with your doctor first. These things could really affect you.
And he's the one who recommended it. But then when I went to the pharmacist, she was like, So then we were able to find something better, and I called my doctor, and he approved it. So,
and do your own research.
Do your own research.
Do your own research. If you're going to put something in your body, you better know a little bit about it. That's how I think. Now, do we always catch everything? No. But, I think we're in this kind of market of supplements that we participate in as consumers, and to keep those prices down, sometimes we have to roll the dice with those not necessarily always tested products.
Now, do you have a list of any brand names or anything that you?
I didn't want to do that.
Okay.
What I will do later is give you the resources to find those.
Okay.
Because I don't want to really single anybody out, because timing could be an issue, that someone had a problem with their product back then,
and now good.
They don't. So I don't want to put a bad light on somebody that may not have,
or not necessarily negative, but even the positives, like something that a good experience.
Yeah.
Or,
so
any of them that are effective that we find online, are we able to attach those?
Yeah, we do.
Amazon.
The ones that I've specifically tried myself, I will put them up there, and link them saying, hey, I've tried these. I'm not saying they're going to work for you. I'm not saying they're completely safe, but I've tried them and I'm not dead. Pretty much where I'm at.
Right now I'm taking a multivitamin, the fish oil, I believe zinc and magnesium, and he's just started for like a 3-week liver detox, and so it's another supplement, and now added a probiotic, and all this came from Dr. Corvino at Array Strength. So that's who, and also because I asked him if he takes those, and I only was going to take what he's putting in his body since I don't like supplements.
Yeah, so. But you where you're at in your life is different than where he's at in his life.
Yes, no, he doesn't take all of those things because we're treating different symptoms, but some things that he did on sleep, which the magnesium I found is very helpful with sleep. Yeah. And then there's an actual real test on the zinc that you can put in your mouth to swish around, and if they're lead taste or not, will let you know if you're low or deficient on that. So instead of just start popping supplements,
right? There's actually a diagnostic step.
Yeah, if there's a need for it.
What I also wanted to do was to dig in a little bit to the athletes. Not all of our members are athletes, but many of them are. And I'm not saying that you're an athlete that you're getting paid for what you perform as an athlete, but sometimes, the sheriff's department has athletes. Some of these guys that work on the grounds crew, or some of the guys that work, doing the blue collar stuff.
Well, they're saying they're legitimate training or workouts or training 3 times athletes. Or more a week, or it considers you an athlete.
So I think if you use your body for a job, technically you're an athlete of some level. If it's taxing on you.
Well, that's like when we do the body fat. If you're active or have muscle mass just from your personal look, you have to put that on there.
And that's to calculate.
Because if you say normal, then that's putting a lot less.
Muscle density may be different for that. So these, now this was a study in July of 2019 about Spanish athletes, but I don't see why we're much different. They mainly take protein powders, amino acids, which is like a cocktail of proteins, multivitamins, glutamine, and creatine. That's what most of them took. So those are the common things. That's what basically most weightlifters or maybe like physique contestants would take something like that.
Or even glutamine and creatine are good for any of those who are doing any different type of training that you're tearing down your muscles. Even like the mud run, or when you're just totally doing things that you wouldn't normally do, and climbing ropes or other things, and you start to feel, or you change your routine and it just, now you're feeling sore.
And I know that
or even to start working out.
The amino acids usually are for those times to where you don't have enough of those nutrients by your diet that you want to take those. So a lot of people that are on dieting or fasting, they'll take those amino acids because they don't add calories.
Yes, or if you're training so hard, because I had to take amino acids, but I was, doing 45-minute sessions of cardio a day, and then you're working.
Right, but then, if you get to that level, if you're to the level where you're taking BCAAs maybe more often than most people would, which might be like once a day, you probably need to consult somebody special for nutrition and
a nutritionist,
because there's some serious side effects to overtraining, and those things build up in your system, and then you're going to be hospitalized possibly, or even worse. So just be careful with it. If something's out of the norm, you think you're pushing it too hard, get an opinion from a doctor or a sports therapist or something like that. Back to the supplements, what we talked about was we don't know if they're being tested, So CVS actually has become a little bit more proactive, and they say that they're not going to sell products unless they actually have tested them. So they tested 1,400 products, 152 brands across 11 categories. And like I mentioned earlier, this is the one I was talking about. Only 7% did not meet the standard.
Wow. So they cut them off their shelf?
Yeah, they were pulled. So that's, but I would say, and that article was by Shamrod Charles. He's a medical doctor, and that was published May of 2019. So it's fairly recent. So that's good, I think. If you're going to roll the dice, then there's reason to believe that most likely it's going to be a safe bet. But you still want to double check as much as you can. And if the more money you have, that's the more security you can have with buying those tested items. The ones that have been double checked. Right now, from what we know about co-packers and people like that assemble these products, their reputation's on the line too. So they're not necessarily gonna
do a lot of them advertise if they are clinically?
Yes, yeah, it'll be probably the number one thing you see because that's why it's so expensive. Another thing is if you compare head to head, a supplement that has not been clinically dosed, the price is going to be like maybe a third of the one that is clinically dosed. So if you see a supplement that's expensive, usually you'll dig into it and it's clinically dosed, or they have lab tests on every batch that they put out.
Good to know.
So what ingredients should these multivitamins have? This is another question. We said we like to take multivitamins, but what are the ingredients that we're looking for? Found an article, March 30th, 2018, Lindsay Slowizik. We'll just leave that at that. She says vitamin D, magnesium, calcium, zinc, iron, folate, and vitamin B12 are the things that you should have if you're going to take, I would say supplements in general or vitamins more specifically is what they're mentioning in the article there. Does that make sense?
That sounds good.
Seems to be pretty on par with what we understand.
So I guess if you're going to double up on one, like a calcium and a multivitamin or a zinc and a multivitamin, then that's definitely something you should get that you should have been advised or directed by a nutritionist or supported by your primary.
Yeah, and basically we're going to go back to, don't roll the dice. Mm-hmm. Check with your doctor. Maybe, look at the reviews. Try and find those ones that have been tested. And I keep re-emphasizing this, but I promise when you go down this path of choosing supplements, you're going to be very confused right away. You're going to wonder why one is expensive, one is cheap. Why is this one have the same ingredients, yet it's cost different? You can look at not only the price of similar items, but you can look, maybe they're trying to finagle the volume that's in that container a little bit to get the same price on the same product that's in the same bottle size, but there's less in it. That's probably the biggest thing I've found with price disparity. So back to we talked about what do these have? When they fail these tests for having some problems and they pull them from the shelves, what are they finding? Usually they're finding, this is from October 12th, 2018, my daughter's birthday. They find that unapproved pharmaceutical ingredients included in dietary supplements associated with the U.S. Food and Drug Administration warnings.
Wow.
Yeah.
Have they given you any examples of what they are and what they do?
They actually did. They told us basically they identified 776 of them. They were commonly marketed as male enhancement, I'll call it, or female enhancement for libido, weight loss, or muscle building. So that probably cover most everybody buying supplements.
I saw that too. The FDA and their list of tainted supplements or the harmful products, the worst offenders are usually weight loss aids, anything that's labeled natural, sexual enhancement pills, and supplements targeted by bodybuilders.
Yep, that's probably the may just be a different version of this.
And that was from wellfit.com.
So they found, it may be from the same study, they found basically 20% contained more than one unapproved ingredient.
Wow,
so,
that's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot. So,
but are they telling you what the ingredient is?
They say synthetic or steroid-like ingredients were one of the main things. Sildenafil, Sildenafil was another thing they found.
Well, what are they saying it does?
Well, it's just it's a foreign material that shouldn't be in there.
Okay.
The side effects, I guess mainly would be, hormonal with that. You're going to be out of the range that you're trying to get into.
Okay.
But that would be, like Dr. Robert Corvino at Array Strength. He does testing to back up what he puts in your body. So
Yes.
as he puts it in, he measures it, and then that those levels have changed.
Yeah, he actually did. On my testing, it came back and it told him how naturally to treat the symptoms and how or the disease or the issue, and then how a list of medications that would treat it. So it's like, do you want to go natural or it was really
Right.
cool, or pharmaceutical.
Right.
So that actually is in some of his testing, the
Yeah,
lab results.
and that's personal preference. If you want to take the chemically derived supplements or medications, or do you want to try and do it from a natural or a holistic
Mhm.
side? I tend to move toward the holistic. I personally haven't taken any medication that has been chemically man-made for a few years now. So I think that works for me. Now, I don't have a specific condition either.
Mhm.
So if I did, maybe that would change things. There's another thing you can look for when you're shopping for your products is just search for whatever product you have. Let's say it's a specific protein supplement. Choose that name and then type in recall and see if the FDA might have pulled that for some reason. Usually the FDA doesn't monitor that, so they're only picking up on things that they have that doesn't match the nutrition label. So there's another place you can go is for the National Institute of Health Office of Dietary Supplements. There's actually a database you can search these.
Yeah,
so this is a
that's
little
really good.
better.
That's useful.
This is a little better to find those ones, possibly find those ones that have had a problem and they've been pulled or they've been targeted by the government for some reason.
And it's been a while since I've looked at that site, but they actually do updates.
Right. And you want to basically, so what we're telling you or what we suggest is you have to be the person that takes responsibility over researching this because it's your body. You're putting it into your body. I would say no matter who suggests taking it, that you need to research what you're going to put into your body. And because many times you're going to put a lot more effort than somebody else might.
Mm-hmm.
You just ask a friend, what should I take? Well, they don't know everything about you.
Yeah.
They just say, well, if you're lifting weights, you need to take creatine. Well, creatine might cause some problems for some people. I don't know. I've never really heard specifically, but maybe people wouldn't want to have the bloat that might be associated with creatine, or vitamin C could also cause a problem, like you said.
Or vitamin A, even with Accutane. Those who use acne, there's a whole list of different acne treatment medications that vitamin A does. And almost every single supplement has something that it will affect if it's a medication that you're on.
Right.
Or another. So it could be something as simple as a cream that you're taking.
And they have drug interactions, right,
yes,
with the medication you have. And I guess, and I haven't looked at this because I don't take many, but maybe somebody else would know. I guess they have even natural supplements maybe that might be on there. But
yes.
If you don't find that on that list on that medication you get from your pharmacist, ask him. Say, hey, can I continue taking my vitamin C supplement? Can you taking this brand of multivitamin?
And if they're unsure, I mean, again, ask a pharmacist, because I even saw where iron and calcium supplements can reduce the effectiveness of antibiotics. Those are two very common ones, calcium and iron.
Right.
I mean, we have to do that all the time, but then if you're taking those and then an antibiotic because you have the flu or something or some type of other infection, and you're not seeing healing there, it could be because
and you would gather that
calcium.
Many people that take calcium, they're usually taking it to help some other ailment. I don't know many people that just take calcium because it's fun or they think they need it. They usually have some sort of condition. Is it like it's fun?
Well, not that it's fun. I just think I need it. I guess the bone. I'm like,
yeah.
I don't want to.
So you're trying to prevent.
But I never knew that it. I mean, breaking a bone.
Right.
As I get older, but an iron, because I've always been iron deficient, and then I had a sinus infection and took antibiotics and never got better, and now I know why after doing some more research.
So basically, if you're taking some medication and you want to take a supplement, that's where your red flag needs to go up. That's
Yeah.
where you really need to start paying a lot more attention than the average consumer, because those interactions, medication is designed to fix a specific problem, but as our maker intended it, he didn't intend for us to take this medication. So our body has to process it a little differently.
Yeah.
And there's some side effects usually with every medication. And we don't want those side effects to be amplified. We don't want to create side effects by adding something else to that may chemically alter that.
Yeah, some of them can turn to toxic. And one I found kind of disturbing was vitamin B3. It actually not only breaks down the medicine, but causes breakdown of muscle tissue if you're taking it with cholesterol medication. So that's pretty big. Breaking down your muscle tissue, and how many people are on cholesterol medicine. So that's another one look into
Right.
and see what B vitamin could be a negative.
Another thing that I personally look for is I look for non-GMO products. I look for organic products. I look for clinically dosed products that I can afford. And those kind of help. And you want to make sure that when they market that it's actually what it says. So when you see that label, go and check that label. Is that the label that the government issued, or is that something kind of close that looks like it that makes me think that it's organic? I know the organic one's really specific, and there's a lot of people kind of trying to play on some words when they market it. So just be careful.
Like all natural. Or
Yeah, even if it has a seal on it, or you think that it's natural, dig a little deeper.
That's what the FDA I saw in there, where the natural stuff isn't. They can just use that. It doesn't necessarily mean it's.
People that have supplements, that make supplements that basically market it to say this is just a natural dietary supplement. It's not intended to treat or diagnose or repair any problem that you have. And that's how they that's the gray area that they ride in.
Well, even manufacturers can claim, which leads often to misleading them, that a supplement can boost your immune system or treat arthritis. They can claim that and it not have those key elements or factors to do so.
And it may do what they say, but
it may not.
Did
but
they prove it?
But those are two things that I saw that they are allowed to claim and it not be accurate.
And if
I'm sure there's so many more.
If a manufacturer makes a claim, go look at the study.
Yeah.
If they make a claim, there should be a study to support it. And it's usually not the case, when they make a claim. But so what do we do as consumers? What do we have to do is we maybe have to go to those ratings. We may have to go like a peer review almost of consumers and say, what do those ratings say about it? Did it make somebody sick? And then if so, if there's any red flags, I'd be very suspicious of the product.
And there's all types of websites that do reviews that you can kind of see where they can't be altered by the manufacturer.
Right.
And again, my information came from verywellfit.com today, and I'm not sure if there's any.
Most of mine's from the NIH and the other ones I mentioned. But what we try and do is to dig into this for you. So at least give you a heads up when you start your wellness journey, that you have this information, or at least know where to find it, know what to look for, know about those red flags. And that's what our company does. We're Wellness Way USA. You can go check out what we do, wellnesswayusa.com. We do telemedicine and wellness products. We're also starting some new things that are pretty neat. Radio station.
Yeah.
What?
Promote integrative. What? So we also promote integrative health, mental health, or spinal treatments.
Yep. We're basically, that practical health stuff that we like to do, and those more affordable mechanisms to get you the care you need is what we do. And we also want to prevent things. So these things are here to help educate you. And we do a lot of practical stuff because we know you're smart. We know you can find the information. We just might have to help you with, hey, save that time of that process that we did over, 3 months or a year of figuring these things out. And we can give you kind of our own history, our own take on what it took to get to where we are now and the problems that we still have. We're not perfect. And we have the same limitations that you guys do. We don't have unlimited resources to just buy whatever we want. we want to make our dollars count as well and probably try and get the best things we can for the money.
And we have educators and other professionals doing research as well. If you're a member, you'll have access to the studies and self-assessments, as well as educational.
Right.
What are the
Right. Yeah, we have a whole
channels?
we have courses also.
Courses.
And then we have these podcasts. We don't list all of our podcasts publicly, so if you're seeing this and you're not a member and you want to get the rest of them, go to wellnesswayusa.com and sign up.
Individuals or group pricing as well.
So thank you for joining us. Lori, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Jeb, for hosting.
We hope to see you next time on another Wellness Way podcast.